What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Collectors Mingle every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a fun one, great one. I know we're like 4 minutes late. We were talking about facial hair for quite a while there in the back room, but we are finally here repping the facial hair. Everyone in the panel. It's an Avengers level, beautiful, epic level panel. So we're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff, guys. We're going to talk about Captain Vaughn. I don't really know much about Captain Vaughn, but we need to talk about him because I know the panel at least knows more than I do. What is the best Hot Toys movie figure line? Because we got to address that. We don't get to talk about stuff like that much. Queen Studios Catwoman on the Bat Pod. There's been some updates. We need to look at those updates. Mantis, this is not a spoiler. Mantis is in the Guardians Christmas special. We need to talk about that, seeing if we're going to get a Mantis figure. Top 3 Boba Fett figures. Hot Toys, Marvel versus Star Wars, and then some other fun stuff if we have time to get to it. But guys, thank you for joining tonight. You're in for quite a show. So let's roll the intro. Here we go, baby. We lost Carlos.
Oh no!
There he is. Well, he's back. There he is.
I don't know what happened.
Dude, I don't either. That's what happened to me. Like before we started the show, Dean was talking and I just like dipped right immediately. I clicked the back button accidentally. I felt so bad. I'm a terrible host. But guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. Carlos is going to be so upset with me. I'm wearing a jacket, not a cardigan, but I think I'm looking pretty good. So I'm really excited about that. But Leo, Carlos, dude, I got to show you, Leo, the voicemail that Carlos left me. So he left me a very funny voice. Carlos, I showed it to my family on Thanksgiving. They were all dying laughing. So they listened.
Really? Did you really
I showed it to my mom. She was like, I love Carlos. Yeah. So yeah. Basically, it was about cardigans. I can't say it on a live stream, but it was pretty funny. So
dude, I can't believe you actually showed it to your mom.
Yeah, it was funny, bro. It was funny. But guys, thanks so much for joining. Let's address this beautiful panel before we get into our topics and, of course, address the chat. Dean, how you doing this evening, man? Dean the Dream himself is back on the channel, baby.
What's up? I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, man.
It's good to be.
Well, your facial hair is looking good, Dean.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, everybody. Nobody compares to Liao, though, dude.
No,
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Liao, I haven't been able to jump on a stream with him in a while. You did
What's up, bro?
You did a stream a while back about just like positiveness in the community, and you said some really nice stuff about our channel and me. And
oh yeah,
I was like, what a fucking sweetheart, you know? Like,
oh yeah, bro. Come on, you gotta pay it
always
forward.
He's just a good guy.
Yeah,
you gotta pay it forward, bro.
Yeah, so yeah, that was nice.
Except when I'm fucking Carlos.
Yeah,
say some shit,
dude. He fucking
say some shit.
He jumps into our channel and antagonizes me all the time.
You know, he didn't. I don't think he. I don't. The thumb. Did you see the thumbnail for the show this morning? You didn't see this. The thumbnail
for the one for the Collectors International.
Yeah, did you see it?
No. I got to look at it, dude.
You didn't see who was on the thumbnail?
No, was it Carlos?
No, it wasn't them there.
I didn't get to see it. I missed it. I was like doing shit.
Take a look at the thumbnail.
Okay,
if you get a chance, go take a look at the thumbname.
All right. I'm gonna look it up for sure. But Dean, so glad to have you back, bro.
Yeah,
and
for having me.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. So,
yeah, you
Mr.
asked
Carlos,
me about.
sorry,
you
Dean,
asked me
go ahead.
about. Oh, I was gonna say you asked me about doing it next week. I was like, yeah, sure. And then you're like, you want to just come on tonight? I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it.
Well, because originally, like the panel, I usually try to keep it to like 3 or 4, and then Optical was going to be on, but he said he had to go buy Christmas decorations. He was tasked that duty by his wife, and I was like, I get it, bro.
Yeah.
I get it. So he had to go do that. So that's where he's at. And I was like, you know what, Dean, let's just do it this week.
Oh, I'm on the thumbnail with Spice. That's what it is.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it is the same one that he put in the group. It's me and I think Spice is the Santa Claus. Yeah, and I'm next to him.
I can see if I can even. I gotta see. I'll have to look it up. Let's see if I can find it. But Dean, thanks so much for joining, bro. Carlos, how you doing, man? Mr. A Place for Collecting.
I'm doing good, man. We were just it looks like I might win my fantasy football game today, so I'm pretty happy about that. And we were talking about beards, and clearly I'm always the last, in last place when it comes down to who has the most full beard. But that's okay. We got to win some, you got to lose some. But yeah, true, man, excited to talk about today, and yeah, let's excited. So
yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Mr. Leia 16 Scale Man, dude,
what's up, bro?
How you doing this evening, bro? Showing everyone up with the best beard in the all of collecting.
Oh man, I wish. I definitely wish.
It's true, man.
Yeah, no, man. Thanks for having me here, man. It's been a busy weekend. We've been shopping pretty much all weekend. Didn't take advantage of anything Black Friday because I don't believe in Black Friday. I think it's a scam. But
Was this year?
yeah, it's definitely a scam. So I just especially for the kids. I think the fun part is just going out, looking for different things, just taking in the festivities, hearing the Christmas music when you're going to department stores, stuff like that. So that was the fun part. I think that was just mainly the fun part. And yeah, that was it. I had to find Toya's gift. One of her gifts was on the Nike website, and for some reason it wasn't letting me get to this piece. It wouldn't let me actually pick it up. So I had to learn that I forgot that I wasn't even signed in. So that's why it wouldn't let me add it to the cart. So I was a dumbass, bro. So I did it and I finally got it. So I'm happy about that. So yeah, thanks for having me, man. Got my eggnog. I got my oat milk eggnog in my hand. So yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Bro, before we start, guys, and address the chat, I got to say, I was telling some of these guys lay out earlier, I just for the first time cooked in my brother's air fryer. Air fryer is fucking awesome. This is I'm really late to the game.
Everyone always, yeah.
Dean, I've never used an air fryer before. Like myself actually cooked it. Dude, it's a game changer. Like so much easier to clean. Like it's so much. It cooks pretty well. Mine only goes up to 400. Is that pretty typical? 400 Fahrenheit. I mean, it still cooked it pretty well. I cooked a bunch of pork chops and it cooked it very effectively. But I mean, you had to flip them, but that was it. But dude, air fryer is literally a game changer.
Yeah.
Bro, you can cook so much shit in there. Anyway, guys. Get an air fryer. No affiliation with any air fryers, but I'm telling you guys, get an air fryer. Guys, let's address the chat. So Paul Su said, from Taiwan, I kept the Sarlacc pit diorama base from Fett Deluxe. Nice, dude. We're going to talk with some Boba Fett tonight, that's for sure. Charles Rubel, greetings all. Tyria, hope everyone's doing well. Ren's the artist. Nighty. Nick's Collectibles, who I just reacted to his collection tours. That's on my channel. Check out Nick's Collectibles. Thanks, Nick, for letting me do that, even though I didn't ask you permission ahead of time, even though I should have. Jovius. Dude, Jovius, thanks so much for being a channel member, bro. I saw you just joined, and I was trying to share it in a live stream, but it wouldn't let me. So I appreciate it, bro. Don't think that it was unappreciated, unrecognized. We'll see. Good evening, ladies and gents. Payton23, what's up, fellow collectors? The collector number one. What's up, everyone? Safeful, what's up, everyone? A lot of early members here. Yeah, man, I know. We were running a couple minutes late, too. Dingleberry, what a username. Good evening, everyone. I'm ready to mingle. Yes, you are indeed ready to mingle. Blackbird Tech, what's up? The collector number one. Ash Chase, SpongeBob Square Balls, who's now a member of a place for collecting, I saw. So really excited about that. Ingle Productions said, did you get your Pennywise on sale? If you're asking me, Ingle, no, I didn't, and I sold them at a loss, so very unfortunate there. AJ Agarusa, greetings, friends. Hope everyone is doing well. Thanks so much for joining, AJ. Channel member AJ Darth Drez. Dinesh Theagaraja. Hey, everyone. Channel member. Bro, Safeful said, Will, you're late. Yeah, bro, I know. I'm so sorry. Collectible Chats. What's up, y'all? What's up, panel? Dingleberry said, yes, give me a 1/6 Drax and Mantis. Both are overdue. We will discuss. We'll see Foxy Feet tonight for the panel. MB Dyson said, WillFoxification on the prowl. Yeah, pretty much, bro, pretty much. Fig Fate, channel member, bro, thanks so much. Good evening, everybody. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks so much. Primetime Reviews, Mr. Mom Collectibles. What's up, Ryan? Mr. Mom Collectibles in the house. Doug Collector, Philip the Fool, Thule, Eclectic Collector. Man, what? What is up, bro? What is up? Ren Santino said, Will Classification tonight with those. Yeah, bro, I know, with my little sweater that I got. 12-inch Moose Stream. Good evening, community. What's up? Jonathan, Blurred Dad Life. Justin McFly. Mark Pearson. Who else is here? I think that's... Nicolio the Great and Powerful. What's up? King Dean. He is a king, bro. He's a king. King of the ladies, that's for sure. eBay prices are the deals. Pretty much, bro. Pretty much. Let's see. Jovius, thanks so much, bro. Single Songwriter in the house. What's up, Single Songwriter? Jason Himmelwright. Cyber Monday YouTube show. What? Yeah, maybe that's what I've heard. Cyber Monday is going to be a little bit bigger. We have the booty bots in the chat already. So, yeah, man. All right.
Yeah, I got it.
So, thanks, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Doc Smithsel hopefully might be out there. Riley, too. We got some mods. Anyway, guys, let's start with Captain Vaughn. Captain Vaughn is a pretty recent release. As I said in the introduction, I know very little to nothing about Captain Vaughn because I'm not a huge Clone Wars guy. Although one day I have said repeatedly that I will give it another chance, and I shall.
No, you won't.
But for now, yeah, but I will, Carlos. I will. But for now, when I watch, and wait till I watch the arc, and then when I watch, isn't what it's called, the arc, Carlos?
There's like multiple.
What is the thing called where you watch only
storylines.
the essential episodes? What is that called?
I don't know, arc stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. It's something like that, but it's something like that, right? But Captain Vaughn, the final product, right? Showing this Captain Vaughn. I think this is pretty cool, but I'll start with layout because layout, bro, I know this one might be a little more appealing to you probably than me and Carlos. I don't know about Dean. Dean's the wild card, but layout, what do you think about this Captain Vaughn, bro?
I mean, it's Captain Vaughn.
So you're in the same boat then.
No. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's definitely his arc wasn't really that big in the series itself. I mean, he was there. He was definitely relevant, but most of his character development. I mean, to me, was towards season 7. To be quite honest, throughout, I mean, he was there, but there was so many clones to go by, but he was still good. I mean, it was still, a relevant clone and stuff like that. Good piece to have if you're a collector. So, I mean, it's a Star Wars piece. Again, if you're a collector, if you're a Star Wars collector, then definitely you would want to have this piece in your collection. I didn't pre-order it yet because I know he's still going to be available. I'll get him once he's there. But yeah, I mean, decent to have as part of, a companion piece to Ahsoka, rest of the 501st, you can have him actually leading off a squadron itself. So yeah, very, and the thing is, like I said, he never took off his helmet. So there wasn't really no relevant, you know what I mean? Like you didn't really get a chance to really see him in season 7. So they went, with the accuracy off of season 7. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth having. We'll say that if you're a Star Wars collector, if you're a true Star Wars collector, then definitely is worth having in your collection. So.
Gotcha. But it's definitely so. Like Leao, he's not a super important character. It sounds like he's just kind of like another trooper with a little bit of a personality and characterization.
I mean, it's not to say that he's not important, because he is. Like he's important to the development of that particular season and what happened, so very important character to have, especially like, again, season 7 was really emotional. It was like an emotional ride for like, Ahsoka's character. So definitely to see where it went and, with Vaughn and the rest of them, you know what I mean? It's just like, having, you have like the rest of your brothers and all of a sudden for no reason at all, they're trying to kill you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And you're struggling with like whether or not you want to, you don't want to see them die, but at the same time, like you got to protect yourself. So again, it's definitely a relevant storyline. He's a very important character. Again, I'll have him in my collection. I know I will. Definitely. So to me, definitely if you're a Star Wars fan, it's good to have this piece in your collection, man. It will look good. It would definitely look. And on top of that, the production photos, they sold me on it because he killed it with these photos. I'm not gonna lie, like he did kill it with these photos. They look really, really good. Next to the rest of the 501st, and he stands out. Definitely. So yeah. No.
Cool.
Yeah. Good.
So it's gonna be a pickup for you then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Dean, what about you, bro? You're the wild card here. I don't know what you're gonna say about this.
Oh, dude, I love clones.
Okay. Well, fill me in.
Yeah. I have like 13 or 14 clones. Most old Sideshow ones, but yeah, clones are my jam.
Yeah.
So Commander Vaughn, commander of the 332nd Battalion. I would say more important characters in that arc are Jesse and Rex.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vaughn, he's the commander, so you see him a little more than like the average clone.
Yeah.
This one, when they first showed it, they just had like Commander Cody helmet pre-painted.
Yeah.
Which was not good because Commander Cody has a very unique bottom half of the helmet. So they did change that. So that's really good to see.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool. I love clones. Named clones are usually worth more long term. So this will be a super easy pickup whenever it gets released. But I mean, you can still buy Captain Rex right now, and that one I thought was discounted. Impossible to get. And so I'm not in a huge rush to get this, but I do really like to see it. I did just pick up Ahsoka this week.
Yeah.
Ooh,
amazing figure, by the way.
Yeah, bro.
Totally. I thought I was going to be underwhelmed.
Once you get it in hand, bro, it's just like, Yeah, it's
super
worth
good.
it. It's definitely worth it to have.
Such a great figure.
I don't think so.
So yeah, this is a
Carlos. I knew you would say that, bro.
This is a really easy pickup for me, because I have the 501st Deluxe, which has the 332nd helmet, and I always wanted a second one, but if I just get Commander Vaughn and then I have Rex and then one 501st Deluxe, I'll be set for my shelf. So yeah, this is a really easy pickup.
Okay. Well, Carlos, fill us in on your thoughts on Captain Vaughn here, or Commander Vaughn, as Dean stated. So what do you think, bro? To me, I think we're probably going to be in alignment here. This is, to me, because I don't really know much about the character. I know these troopers and these clones tend to move pretty well. They sell. They're always in the best sellers list. But to me, it's just kind of another clone because I don't really know much about the show. Are you kind of in the same boat?
Well, I mean, I've seen the arcs enough to know enough about Captain Vaughn. So I've seen all the important arcs. But what I'm going to say, though, is, and Will and I will make a video about this. Right, to explain what I'm going to be referring to. It's called tier-based collecting, and once we introduce it, it'll make more sense. But basically, in my tier-based, I don't believe this is not going to make the cut for me because I'm not really. Even though I saw the arcs, I don't feel connected to it. And honestly, even for Star Wars collectors who do implement this new tier-based thing that we're going to introduce soon, I don't believe he'll make the cut too. I don't believe he's important enough to make that cut when it comes into tier-based collecting. And maybe a Captain Rex or a Commander Cody, but I doubt that Jesse or Captain Vaughn will make the cut. And like I said, once we introduce it, it'll make more sense. But I just don't think he's important enough when it comes down to collecting the essentials. So I mean, he looks cool. I'm not gonna say he doesn't. So does, in my opinion, the armorized Deadpool. He looks pretty cool too, but they're both non-essential. So that's how I see him.
Yeah. That's how I tend to be too, but I guess it's a matter of subjectivity. I mean, it's like, like to huge Clone Wars fans, they might view it this way. But I guess, when we introduce the kind of philosophy that we're going with, it might make a little more sense, like I said. But yeah, I mean, like if you're limiting yourself to say 50, 60, 70 figures, right? When you start really sort of looking at that and taking a step back from it, you're like, is Captain Vaughn really in the top 70 figures for me? If you're having more than that, then it's a different conversation. But if you're limiting yourself to a set amount, that's pretty reasonable. Then I would say he's probably not going to make the cut. But
I think it's going to depend on, like, again, you're going to have casuals, you'll have people. I mean, if the thing is, it's I'll put it to you this way. Like, I'm not here to really speak for those who don't like the figure. I'm not here to speak for people who don't really, that there's no level of importance for the character because they haven't really followed the show. So I can't really speak for them. I can only speak for those such as myself, such as maybe Dean and anybody else who have really dove into Clone Wars, appreciates it for what it is. Because again, like I said, if you dive into Clone Wars, it's sort of like it cleans up everything that you might have actually seen with Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. It is a dope filler. It is, in my opinion, it's even better than both films because it fills in the blanks and it kind of tells you the reason why things, especially nicely done with season 7. It answered so many questions. So when you follow that, if you are a diehard Clone Wars fan, I mean, I am. So anything that actually is released from the IP, I'm going to get. That's not going to be for everybody else. I mean, the thing is, it's like you have people who really want or would love to have this piece in their collection, and it does carry a level of importance based on the season, based on what they basically saw and what you know about the clones. If you're a clone collector, yes, it's important to you. I didn't pre-order because I don't pre-order, but that's not to say that I'm not going to have this figure, because I will. It's going to look really, really good. But then again, if you're not someone who really dove into that season or even watched, really consistently watched the season and seen its development, then you're not going to really have an attachment to it. Therefore, you may not have attachment to the character. I mean, that's what it is. So, I mean, again, it's all things subjective, just like collecting anything that we actually see, it's how it is. So,
what I was, I guess, referring to more is like, and this thing called tier based, but really it's more about those collectors who are trying to like limit themselves to like 50 or, no more than like 75 figures. Things we'll talk about more when we do make the video. What I'm saying is that even if you followed it, I just don't think that this guy even makes the cut. So even if like Leo, if you were to say like, okay, I'm gonna limit myself to only like 50 figures, I don't know if Captain Vaughn makes the cut. You know what I mean?
I just
probably
don't think
it makes the full.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean,
even someone who likes clones and that, and
right?
Yeah,
so if you were to be like,
to find a pretty diehard Clone Wars fan,
Rex and Cody would definitely.
Yeah, sure, Rex and Cody might be.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So that's what tier base is more about. Like for those who want to, not have 100+ figures or 200 figures, but if you were to be like, okay, I'm gonna have 50 to 75 as my max, I don't think this guy makes the cut. No matter, and it's interesting unless you're like hardcore.
Sorry, Carlos.
I just don't think the majority will even get it.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but So, but what I was going to say is, just doing this system, I can say we'll kind of talk more about it, but limiting myself to 65, looking at that was really hard. That was really difficult. Narrowing it down to 65. If you have room for a lot more collectibles, it's not really a conversation, but if you are looking to limit, then for sure it really makes you think. It really makes you like look at it and you're like, damn, do I love that character in the top 60? And the 60 sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's really not.
But
you feel that pretty quickly.
In your list, do you have sequel trilogies in that list?
Dude, of course they do.
See, like that's the thing. It's definitely.
But for you,
subjective.
they would be like number 500.
So maybe Vaughn is someone's.
Sure, he could be.
So
you could.
It's not impossible to think that.
No,
way.
not impossible.
No.
Vaughn is going to be basically very, very important to people who collect just clones, because there are people that within their 50 or 60, they collect clones. Like that's primarily, they'll collect clones before they'll collect main characters because they're more so associated with that. So again, like I think it would for them, you'll have a group of individuals where it may actually reach their top, because again, they're more so involved in clones. They want to have clones and actually clone commanders, that will represent each different faction, to have their own faction of clone commanders and stuff like that would lead a battalion. So that's basically to where it is. I mean, like somebody says,
I mean, like, there would be some. I just think it
people like that. So
no doubt. I mean, you're right. I mean, there would be those. I just think it would be a very small minority. I don't think many would approach that.
Yeah, it just depends how many figures you want. But anyway, guys.
Yeah, obviously.
We'll wrap it on Captain Vaughn because I want to ask you guys a really important question. Like I said, we don't really talk about lines as much in terms of like looking at sort of the historic lines that Hot Toys has released, which ones we think are the best, which are the worst, so forth. But I kind of want to just go with something simple for this question. Which Hot Toys movie figure line, so movie line, not TV show, comic, whatever. So we're talking about a specific movie line. We could say Civil War, we could say Endgame, we could say A New Hope, we could say Rogue One, whatever, right? Something like that specifically. What is the best Hot Toys movie figure line in your opinion? And I'm going to save mine for last because I don't want to take steal anyone's thunder here. But I actually want to jump to Dean first. Dean, what is the best Hot Toys movie figure line, bro? What should people be collecting if they want a line?
For me specifically, and this is exactly what I did, because I was pretty late to the game. I didn't start collecting until 2016, I think.
Yeah.
2017. A New Hope for me. One, Star Wars is probably, I think if you collect Hot Toys, you probably collect Star Wars somewhere. It's kind of, what got them started and what's continued to make them money. But it's also kind of the most fleshed out one. You got Han, Chewie, Leia, Luke, Obi-Wan, Vader, Tarkin. We still need a fucking C-3PO, but you got R2. Did they make a New Hope R2?
I don't think they made a Force Awakens one, and they made isn't Empire the other one?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Okay, one of those two.
So if they don't have C-3PO, which is one of the most important, does that make it not a complete figure line?
Well, see, then you go into Empire, you still don't have Han or a Chewie from that movie. Again, R2 or 3PO. I guess you could futz them in. I have the Force Awakens one I just use. But it's not totally fleshed out. Same thing for Return of the Jedi. Still missing a Han, Chewie again. So to me, the most iconic film in the original trilogy is A New Hope. It's what started it. And those figures still hold up. They are so good. I think Han Solo is probably one of the greatest Hot Toys ever produced. That thing, the tailoring is amazing. The likeness is great. The accessories are insane. So yeah, this is the one I have. I have the 2-pack of Han and Chewie. And I just think that A New Hope is the most fleshed out it could be. They even have like the Death Star gunner. They have the Death Star, what's he called? With the weird helmet?
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Death Squad Trooper, whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, okay.
Again, Tarkin Vader. It's just so good. That line is amazing. We just need an R2 and a C-3PO for this movie, and we're good to go. But that's what I did. The first thing I did is I started narrowing it down to A New Hope. So
I think we need a new Farm Boy Luke, Dean. I think we need
a 2.0 would be great,
yeah.
but I do. Where's my Luke? I had him here.
Do you have that Farm Boy Luke?
Yeah, he's literally right here on my desk.
Oh, nice. It's not a bad figure, but it could use an update.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, a 2.0 would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it can be improved. Yeah.
Yeah, but had a ton of accessories. I mean, more accessories than you see even today.
Yeah.
So this figure I really love. It's kind of like everybody kind of like relates to Luke in that way. Like you're kind of stuck in a rut and you want to go on this adventure, but you got responsibilities. And then what happens when, you have to answer that call, even if you're not ready, and Luke is such a great like hero figure growing up that I love Luke, and A New Hope starts it all. So that was like the Luke I knew I had to own. So I was like, I'm just going to start fleshing out my collection with Hot Toys A New Hope figures. So
I like that, Dean. I like that description of Luke as sort of the hero that's not ready to be the hero yet. We've all maybe
not really a reluctant hero like he wants to, but it's like, dude, I got work
it's not
to
like
do.
Han.
I gotta do all this stuff, and then he's just kind of thrust into it. And he answers the call fantastically. So I just love Luke, and yeah, A New Hope is to me the ultimate. I guess if you love Marvel more, obviously you're not going to agree with me, but yeah, to me, that's the line.
Well, I guess we're going to see. Okay, well, I want to save Lael for last because he's going to be a wild card, I think. I don't know what Lael's going to say on this one. But Carlos, I have a pretty good idea. What's the best movie figure line from Hot Toys for you?
So I think the best one would be, and it's because they've made vehicles, small vehicles, 2.0s. They've done all kinds of small side characters, all the main ones. I think the Dark Knight,
really?
the whole trilogy.
You surprised me, bro.
Yeah, I think so because they've made.
That's a pretty good choice.
They made the Batmobile. They made the Catmo Batmobile. They even made from the Dark Knight Rises the actual bat or the helicopter form. They made the Bat Pod. They made Catwoman. They made Bane. Those figures are older. They're making the 2.0s. Batman Begins. The Joker is something we're expected all to see soon. Same thing with the new Bane. They even did fucking Alfred. They did the Armory. They even did a Bat Signal.
They have Robin.
You got Robin. You got the one cop. I forget his name. The actor's name. So they've done a full line there where you can really fill up an entire module case of it. There isn't a single piece that's like missing, unlike Marvel or I don't believe in Marvel. There's a specific, like, even if you go Endgame, like Valkyrie from that scene is missing, or even like Star Wars, you have C-3PO that's missing. One of the key iconic characters is missing. So I think the Dark Knight trilogy is the most complete because if you're a vehicle collector, the bat, everything for the most. I think the only one that's missing is, I forget his name, but he's the one from Batman Begins, the Ross Ghul, something like that.
Ra's al Ghul.
I forget his name.
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, he's the only one missing. Yeah, but he's he wasn't even like one of the main guys. It was Bane and Heath Ledger that most people usually tend to talk about, not necessarily him in the first one. I know some people really still like that movie though. So yeah, it's the one too that if you can go on the secondary market and go get custom capes for. People still upgrade it, and yeah. So I think it's the best movie figure line because of what it brought, what is being updated, and just how great the figures are, honestly, at this point. So yeah, that is, I think, what it is. The Dark Knight trilogy is the best movie figure line. It's not missing any iconic characters, unlike Marvel and Star Wars. And
that's a good answer. And you got quarter scale from it. So
and you got quarter scale. So yeah, I think
you got a lot of diversity there in the line there. But yeah, man, that's the. I thought you for sure were gonna go Endgame. I thought you for sure were.
No, because it's missing. Someone said Mantis. That's a good idea. Yeah, but like Mantis, Valkyrie, it's missing a couple pieces. You know,
Wanda.
So because right, you don't have the Black Order, right? You only have Thanos. Like you have a lot of missing pieces in there. So I wouldn't say that's the most complete. Russ, you know, again, I forget the Liam Neeson, whatever. He is missing, but I don't. That's like, I don't know. Like if the Shatari was missing, I don't think he's that important. At least I don't think so. You know what I mean? He's like, he was. Bro. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, right? I don't think people are like don't feel like their collection is incomplete. But you know, with Hot Toys, Star Wars, right? C-3PO, and again, I already said the Marvel ones. So yeah,
right. Okay. Well, Lael, man, what about you, man? What's the best Hot Toys movie figure line for you?
Well, I mean, it's to me, it's just obvious. You know, it's going to be now when we're saying line, we're talking about not one particular film, but we're talking about
that was the goal. But
the
Carlos
films
made it a whole trilogy,
the trilogy itself. All right,
no, just mostly one film is what
one
I was
film.
I would because like basically, if you said like the sequel trilogy, that'd be the same as like saying the Dark Knight. Basically, you'd have 3 films. So, but I really was going after like one film. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you're going after one film, I want to, and I don't want to say because
it's tough. It's tough.
I you know what? I'll stick with what Dean said. I will because the thing is, A New Hope itself, iconic as it is, and pretty much one of the first official films that I actually seen in the theaters in 1977. It was like, I mean, again, I'm a Star Wars fan, have been diehard, before, even though I'm a comic book fan, I'm a comic book collector. Star Wars has always been my first love. And to have New Hope, to have one of the first, OT trilogy figures that I actually got before I got Han and Chewbacca and Leia, was Obi-Wan, because I still say that by far, besides, my Generoso figure that I actually have in my collection. Obi-Wan, that Alec Guinness piece is one of the greatest pieces ever made, hands down. One of the greatest pieces. That head sculpt alone, it's like you're looking at Alec Guinness. And if it doesn't take you back, to the trilogy, if it doesn't take you back to how you felt, I mean, look at that right there. That even go back to the one where you see with the hood up and his
with the hood up. Hold on, let me get rid of Honey. If you advertise to me,
if you go back to that one, right there, bro, that is so iconic. Right there, that is iconic of him walking down the corridor right before he faces Vader, igniting his blade. It again, I mean, I think that it just speaks volumes to what you can get. And these are, in any piece that you actually have is a Grail piece from this trilogy, literally. If you have Obi-Wan, if you have Leia, if you have Farm Boy Luke, if you have Han, if you have Chewbacca, if you have Tarkin, you have Vader, you know what I mean? If you're looking at these, even some of the TIE fighter figures that you can actually find from this piece, the TIE fighter pilots, like literally, it's an amazing piece to have, or pieces to have in your collection, and it kind of started it all, for any Star Wars collection figure or collectible figure that we actually are getting now. So for me, I would say that, it would have to be New Hope, like definitely New Hope, because that piece right there, I mean, that Obi-Wan Kenobi, honestly, that's the one figure that I do not believe you will ever see a 2.0 for. I don't.
Okay.
I really don't. As of right now, I really don't. And if you have it in your collection right now, it's a blessing, because it's an amazing piece to have. And I'm so glad I got it before it sold out.
I bought it loose a few years ago for like $150.
Damn. I just sold mine. I sold mine like less than 6 months ago. Yeah. Because someone gave me $500 for it. So I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, no.
Yeah. So
he only had his light up arm attached, but I was like, I don't care. He's gonna be wearing the cloak anyway. Like, you can hardly see it when he's standing there. So,
but it's Leo's right. It's a beautiful head sculpt. It's one of the best ones that I've seen. Yeah, no doubt. And Leo, I hope they do remake it. Maybe a anniversary or something, bro. Like, I hope they do.
I don't know. I mean,
maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, we're moving on to Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary coming up here in April. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if they will. As of right now, I'm gonna say they won't. They could surprise us. They might go back and dip in the well and say, look, we're gonna make a 2.0. You never know with Hot Toys. But I mean, to have this piece in your collection, like literally, it's a gold mine for me. And I don't sell figures, so I don't really have to worry about that. Yeah,
it's true, man. Absolutely, bro. And yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that no one picked Endgame, because I think that would have been probably the one that I think a lot of people would have chosen.
You know why I didn't?
Why? What's up?
Because it was the worst experience. That's why.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's
a lot of delays.
Considered a lot of delays for it. On top of that, a lot of poorly made figures from that line. Because if you actually have that I'm telling you that what did they call him? The overweight Thor.
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 Yeah.
That figure's terribly made, and I'm so glad I did not get it. You know what I mean? I did not actually have it. We're still waiting on Loki. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just it was the worst experience for a collector who wanted to actually get any figure from that line. So that's why I didn't mention it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, there are some bangers in that line, though. I mean, like, the Captain America, I know most people love. The Iron Man Battle Damage Mark 85, that one is a grail in the making, no doubt about it for me. And Infinity War was a tough one too, Leo. That was one where I was looking at also, because there's a lot of good ones in that line too. A lot of good figures. That War Machine is really good. That Thanos, the Mark 50, which not everyone's favorite, but I think that's a pretty good figure. The Avengers 1 line is really good for its time. I think one that people tend to forget about now, that like almost every figure was like absolute hit, right? It was actually the Civil War line. The Civil War line was really, really good, because you had the did you have a Spider-Man? I think you did, right? No, maybe that came out later. But they had Black Panther, they had that Wanda, they had the Falcon, they had Captain America himself. Like and then the Mark 46, like that was a really good line. That was like a line, especially the battling version of Captain America. Like that one was really popular, still is. It's tough. It would probably be one of those three for me. If I had to choose, I'd probably go Endgame, because I'm getting a Loki from it. Hopefully it turns out good. I guess we'll see. But Battle Damage Thanos, I didn't love that figure, but a lot of people really love that figure. Endgame has a lot of good figures. So does Infinity War, but that's probably least popular Captain America, though.
What could potentially be a contender as well? People might not agree, but once this figure comes out, I believe it will be a contender, and that's the Justice League. Because literally, once we actually get that Cyborg in hand, you get a chance to complete the trilogy from that. I mean, you can almost go out and buy like the third party figures for like a Darkseid or a Steppenwolf.
Yeah, you could.
So if you get those figures in hand, pretty much that's completing a line right there. So I think it's pretty good. I can't wait to get, Cyborg. So
yeah. So, but I was going to say, Carlos, Endgame, as we put a wrap on this one, Carlos, do you have anything else to add to that about Endgame?
No, I mean, just because it's missing a few figures, because, just because I New Hope, like I said, it's missing your main one. So it's C-3PO. So I couldn't say it's the most complete. It's missing one of the most iconic characters of all time. So like, right, I couldn't say that. And Endgame is just missing just too many pieces. You know what I mean? Justice League is pretty good. I just wish that if they would have done like the Batmobile for that, then you could have been like, dude, it's everything for it. You know what I mean? So like, but yeah, if Hot Toys was to ever make like the Falcon cockpit, the teased multiple times, and that C-3PO, then yeah, New Hope would be like, a clear winner at that point. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. Well, guys, great thoughts on that one. And I know, if we were bringing in shows, Mando would be a contender, obviously, because Mando has a lot of really great figures in that line. So does Clone Wars. So if we did TV shows, we could expand that. But guys, I wanted to ask you, because something dropped recently, not figure related, but content related, and it was the Guardians Christmas special. I don't know if everyone here has had a chance to watch it. It's about 45 minutes long.
Oh, it's out already?
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, yeah, shit, I'm going to watch it tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, I liked it. I know Carlos really loved it, but I thought it was pretty good. It was fun. It was enjoyable. So this is not a spoiler, but there's a lot of Mantis and Drax in this. So this is really their special, to be honest. And there's opportunities here. I think if Hot Toys wanted to make figures, specifically Mantis, they totally could. So I kind of wanted to share this photo, just reminding people that the special is out, and then share this one right here that was actually shared a long time ago for the Mantis figure, right? So this is a very good opportunity for Hot Toys to do this. Would you buy a Mantis figure? And Leo, I will start with you on this one. Mantis has been one that's been shown a couple times now. Yeah, man,
I will
go ahead,
honestly say, bro, I was skeptical about this once because I mean I don't know why I was skeptical, because it's James Gunn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's James Gunn. This literally, and it's because it's a Christmas film as well, like a Christmas short, you might as well say. I would say this is one of the greatest accomplishments ever. Like literally, especially for the Guardians line, I loved every single frame, shot, even the animation in the very beginning. And I don't want to, because there's so much I want to say, but Dean hasn't seen it yet.
Right.
But literally,
the Christmas special you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm talking about that first. It is literally one of the greatest accomplishments. I was entertained. The music is catchy as fuck. Like literally, I think it was incredible. And Dean, you literally this because of that film or series, or when it's short. I'll call it like a little short, a mini, whatever, a short, whatever, or Christmas special. Like, it is the perfect opportunity to give us a Mantis, because if you didn't love that character before, you would definitely love her after watching.
100%.
And I believe that the chemistry between her and Dave Bautista was spot the fuck on. It was so entertaining, bro. Like literally, I wanted more of it. I didn't want it to end. I enjoyed it so much. It was so good. It was so good. And if you didn't tear the fuck up by the end of this show, like literally, I was almost in tears, because it was really. But at the same time, I was waiting for them to finally reveal it, because it was something that I kind of picked up on and knew, even after watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because it made so much sense. Why wouldn't it be that way? If you and the thing is, I purposely, even when I got the film, when I actually got it on digital, before this, I actually went back and I froze it. It was the one scene that I wanted to freeze, because I wanted to see every child put it this way. I wanted to look at everything that was in this one particular scene and everyone that, Ego has been with. And sure enough, if you look in the far left corner at the very top, you got to look really quick. If you freeze it, you'll see why it's important. And that's why I was like, I couldn't wait for them to reveal it. They finally did. I was excited about it. And it's so important to actually have Mantis in your collection right now. Like, as a collector, like, come on, Hot Toys, capitalize on it. I mean, that thing is getting rave reviews right now. Everybody loves it. So again, it's important. It's the perfect opportunity to do it. Anybody out there who says differently, I don't know, but I would love to have it in my collection, because it would complete my Guardians line. Until they give me a better Drax, I hope they do give us a better Drax. I don't have that yet. But yeah, and it's also an opportunity for them to do a 2.0 of another figure that I'm pretty sure everybody would be excited about. So.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, but absolutely.
Hopefully that 2.0 doesn't happen, though. I know you're.
Hey, dude, we'll see. But Carlos, I want to jump to you next, and I'll save Dean for last, because he's the only one who hasn't seen the special. But Carlos, I know you're a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. James Gunn directed this special, and I know you kind of told me DC's got some excitement just because of James Gunn. Fill us in on the special in general, and whether you would buy a Mantis.
Yeah. So everyone knows I love Iron Man, right? He's my number one character. My number two is Star-Lord. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, the second one. This Christmas special. I believe that when it's all said and done after the third, the whole Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy plus the special is going to be the best thing that Marvel has put out. And I strongly believe that. As far as Mantis, I really didn't care about Mantis, honestly, coming into the special. I didn't care about her or Drax or a few others. Like, I don't want to spoil it, because then, I'll say who else. But there was a couple others that I was like, I don't really care so much about them. This, like Lael said, this specific special is going to make you really care about Mantis. It's going to make you really care about Drax. You're going to see their personalities we have never seen before. Maybe a little bit of Drax, but I will definitely pick it up. and again, going back to that top 50, 75 figures, this will definitely 100% be in that collection for me. I really love Guardians, and I think this would be one of them. I think for the majority of people, though, I think hopefully, the special, it connects with them really well. But I think overall, I may see her suffering the same fate as like Nebula, where people were asking for a Nebula, and then Nebula released, and she sold and is widely available still. So I think she might fall in that line, But for me, I'll definitely pre-order. After the special, I want a Mantis. I just hope that I don't think the special is like groundbreaking or anything where it's going to make people want to keep Mantis or have Mantis like, a year from now or 2 years from now. They'll probably forget about it. It's going to be probably, like I said, like Nebula, unfortunately. And they'll definitely make a figure from this, just because if they made a figure from that 5-minute Groot show, then they're probably going to make a figure from this too. So.
Yeah, I think so, and I'm with you. Yeah, because I enjoyed it. Like it was pretty fun and enjoyable, and I enjoyed watching the 45 minutes. It went by very quickly, and it was fun. Like that's all it was really meant to be.
Listen, I'm just going to say like the reason why I think that this is going to be an important figure to pick up, because the revelation, of course, but then also what we stand to see from Guardians 3. And we know that there's going to be a lot riding on that one, because again, it's the last of the 3 films, especially from James Gunn.
Yeah.
But in this special, she ain't no bitch. So I'm just going to say it like that. You know what I mean? So she's cool. Definitely no bitch. She's pretty cool. Like, you know what I mean? And again, I thought that it was really, really nicely done. And I hope that, again, if Hot Toys, if you're listening, it's a perfect opportunity. And the thing is, it's like this figure will sell, considering the simple fact that there was a third-party knockoff that dropped and it sold out quick. It sold out almost to the point that it was non-existing once it hit. Like as soon as it hit, it was gone. You know what I mean? So I think it is an opportunity, definitely.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Dean, what about you, bro? I know you're going to watch the special soon, but what do you think about Mantis? Would you pick up a Mantis if it became available?
I think she's sorely needed. I don't know if I would pick one up. I do have Star-Lord and Rocket because I like their chemistry together, because they kind of hate each other, but they also love each other in a way.
Right.
Like me and Carlos. So
that's Carlos and everybody.
Yeah. But if she comes out, then it would be more tempting to pick up the rest of the line. There's plenty of Groots out there to get. I do kind of want a Drax, but one, there's only that one version of him that's not very good, and it's also kind of expensive. Mm-hmm. But if the whole line was fleshed out, then I would be much more swayed to pick up the Guardians figures, because I love those movies. And the third one's coming out. They could, have a chance to come out with more figures from those. So I can't say that I wouldn't pick one up, but as of right now, I wouldn't. But we'll see about after tonight.
Yeah, we will, man. When you watch the special, your opinion might change, because I was kind of in your boat, but now I would definitely consider it.
Yeah.
I would consider a Mantis after watching the special, because she really did. I mean, she and Drax are really the stars, like I said, but I think Mantis really does steal the show. Like, she's really good.
When they introduced her, I really liked her. Mm-hmm. But there was never an opportunity to get one, except for like the third-party ones that aren't super good.
Right. Those, yeah.
So it's not that I didn't like the character before. I do really enjoy her character. So yeah, we'll see.
One thing I would say, Dean, is that I think that this would be a really cool figure. Like if you look at the figure aspect of it and how it would look on your shelf, I think this would definitely pop. I think Mantis would get people's attention. Yeah. That's what I think. Same with Yondu, for example, right? Yondu's just a really cool looking figure. And I think Yondu's a great character, but he might even be an even better figure. So, and I think Mantis could be, I don't know if she's Yondu level, but I think she's a pretty interesting looking character. And I think that could get people's attention.
The fact that it got this far and she's not out is pretty upsetting.
Right. What tier, Carlos? Probably like
what tier?
4 to 5 for me. 4 to 5 for me.
Okay, same.
So she's probably going to be a pass for me.
Yeah, I'll put tier 4.
Yeah, she's probably a pass. Well, people don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but it's fine.
I know.
We'll explain. But okay, so guys, we're gonna move on to the next one, and I'm going to address one. And I kind of want to start with Dean, because Dean, we need to talk about top 3 Boba Fett Hot Toys figures, not the statue behind you. No sideshow in this discussion. Okay. Only Hot Toys. Fill me in, bro. Your top 3 Boba Fett Hot Toys figures. What are they?
Top 3 Boba Fett figures. Boba Fett's kind of one of those. It's hard because people have their preferences. Yep. I prefer Empire Boba Fett.
Okay, that's number 1.
That being said, the Return of the Jedi one is pretty good, and you get the Sarlacc diorama. That's pretty sick. I think that might be the best, honestly, just because you get all the cool stuff with it. The Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. The Empire one is pretty good too. I don't know if it's 2 though, because I would say maybe the animation Boba Fett, because it's so different, right? But then again, the Empire Deluxe comes with the different color gauntlets, so you can have that like vintage look to it. Oh, they did the 40th anniversary Boba Fett like that, didn't they?
Yep. They did Boba Fett, and he had like 2 different helmets in that one too.
Yeah,
right.
So, God, dude, that's hard. That's a hard list because you also have the all black one, the Arena Boba Fett.
Yeah, you have Arena Fett. You have the vintage Boba Fett.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go animation Boba Fett number 2.
Okay.
Because it's so different, you know.
Let me see if I can find it.
And then number 3.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is so good, dude.
That's pretty cool. That's why I picked Boba Fett, because there's a lot to choose from.
Mark Pearson, if you're in the chat, how dare you?
Why? What did he say?
Like a couple weeks ago, we were live on stream. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sell this Boba Fett." I was like, "Dude, message me right now." And like, I didn't hear from him for like 2 days. I was like, "Bro, like, what's going on?" He's like,
Mark.
"Oh, I'm selling it to someone else." I was like, "Dude, I fucking told you to message
Come on,
me."
Mark.
Like,
Come on,
he's like,
Mark.
"I totally forgot." I was like, "How dare you?" Anyway, this Boba Fett, it's so cool, so different. And then for number 3, I guess the Empire Deluxe, because you do get the other helmet and all the other the swap out parts. So that's my top 3.
Okay. Well, Carlos, fill us in, bro, on your top 3 Boba Fett figures, because we also have Mando figures to consider as well now. You know, and Book of Boba Fett figures. We have quarter scale.
I totally forgot about those, but I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Yeah, because you could do OG Boba Fett, original trilogy. You could do animated Boba Fett. You could do Mando, Book of Boba Fett. There's a lot of Boba Fetts out there. Carlos, so fill us in, bro. What are your top 3?
For me, it would be the Boba Fett, the Return of the Jedi is my number 1. Favorite look, the helmet's even a little bit longer. I just really like that look the most. Second would probably be the Boba Fett from the Mandalorian, just because I really like the head sculpt. I think it's really great looking, and the 2-pack. I think that looks great. Yeah, so this looks really good.
This one's a really
so
good
that
figure.
would. Yeah, so that would be my first. The Mando one would be my second, and then my third would be the Empire Strikes Back, the 40th anniversary Boba Fett. Those would be my top 3 for sure. I can't say the Arena Boba Fett because I didn't even know it existed until Hot Toys released it, so I had no idea.
Right, it's a cool looking figure. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's all black. It's pretty boring.
Right.
But so those 3 would be my top 3.
Fair enough,
for sure.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, bro. Yeah, and before I jump to layout, I'll just give mine. I would say the Mando Weathered Boba 2-pack. I think that's probably number 3. I would go the Return of the Jedi number 2, and then I would go Empire number 1. So yeah, a lot of good options to choose from. Layout. I know you have some Boba Fetts in your collection, bro. What are your top 3?
I can't do 3.
How many do you want to do? 5?
I'm going 5.
Okay, give me 5. Then. Give me 5.
So top 5. 5 is the Arena suit. 2-pack is number 4.
Okay.
3 is animated. 2 is Throne. 1 Deluxe.
Okay. Wait, which Deluxe? The Empire Deluxe. Okay.
That's Deluxe. That basically where it gives you both the you get the original. The Empire Deluxe is the one that comes with 2. You actually get 2 separate looks for that one. So I definitely had to do that. But the throne, it doesn't get as much credit as especially, and I'm talking about the throne, of course, throne at the end of Mandalorian season 2. I just love that suit. I think that suit is incredible. So I love that arena suit not arena suit, animated, because again, I missed out on it like a dummy. I should have got it. Beskar Kid is out there, and I know he's laughing at me right now because I didn't get it, and he actually, got his hands on one. I'll eventually get it someday. The 2-pack, of course, is just legendary. That head sculpt is probably one of the best you'll ever see, and I love the arena suit. I do. I love the stealth like look, like the arena battle look. It is versed on the book itself, based on the book itself, so it's really decent. The comic book run. So I love it. So I mean, you can't get enough of Boba, man. Like I think it's definitely a decent piece to have, or whichever one you get your hands on, you'll enjoy it nonetheless. So yeah.
Absolutely, bro. And I knew there's a lot of, like I said, Boba Fett's to pick from, and a lot of good ones. Bro, absolutely. Well, guys, now I'm going to give you a really tough one. Okay, we're going to play a game called Pick a Side. Right. And this is going to put Leo in a very difficult predicament.
Star Wars.
So, because maybe not be so difficult for Dean, but we're going to find out. All we're going to have to do, really. Okay. If you have essentially a gun to your head and someone says, all right, you can only collect Hot Toys Marvel or Hot Toys Star Wars. You cannot have both. You cannot mix and have a little bit of both. You can only have one. You got to give up the other one forever. Right. So, I want to ask the question, and I want to start with Leal because I want to see where he's going to go. And I think I have an idea, but Leal, you got to give up one: Hot Toys or Star Wars or Marvel. What are you taking? What are you giving up?
Star Wars. I'm keeping Star Wars all day.
I knew it, bro. I knew it.
All day. That's a no-brainer.
Right, tell me why.
Well, I mean, because it's legendary, bro, and it has some of the most iconic figures for me. And the thing is, the reason why I say it's easier for me, because when we saw Star Wars, the first time we actually witnessed Star Wars was on the silver screen on theater, in the movies. So basically we are directly connected to the characters and the actors who portray these characters because of what we see. Even like the iterations that we get in the comics are based on what we saw on camera. Luke Skywalker in the books will look like Mark Hamill, depending on who's drawing it, Han Solo, Leia, so on. So it's easy for me to connect to that because, again, I'm good with that. I love it. Star Wars for me has always been a pillar. For me, it's a staple, for me, again, as a collector, as someone who loves film, Star Wars will always be number one for me. Marvel, I can give that up because I collect comics. That's where my heart's at. So it's easy for me to give that up. I'm not directly connected to the actor. I'm connected to the character. So it's easy for me to separate. So I really don't, it's easy for me to say that. I mean, there's so many times that I even thought about, I'll just give it up. I'll just get rid of it because I think, for Marvel, for me, it's just too convoluted with so much stuff that's actually going on right now. They, could capitalize on making comic accurate versions of those, like a comic version of each character. I'm pretty sure people would buy it if they did it. It's so much money in that, and they're just missing it. You know what I mean? And, again, like I said, there's too many headaches with that. So I would, just to kind of lessen it for me, Star Wars, it would just be that all day for me, and I'm good.
That makes sense, bro. Absolutely makes sense. This would be really tough for me, but I want to hear Carlos's thoughts. Carlos, I know you're going to pick one side. Fill us in, bro.
I mean, for me, it would easily be Marvel. And I think for the, unless you're like an old, OT fan or anything like that, I want to make sure that it's clear that right at Endgame, right during that time, and right after the sequels, if you would have asked this question, probably a lot of people who will be picking Star Wars would have probably been picking Marvel. Because if not for The Mandalorian, Star Wars wouldn't be anywhere right now. And that's the truth. That's not even like, me just hating on Star Wars, because that's just the reality. So Marvel, easily Marvel. Star Wars is, it's good. I'm not saying it's not, but it got a lot of fans because of The Mandalorian. I think if you take out The Mandalorian, then where Star Wars was after the sequels, it wasn't a very good place, and where Endgame was, right after obviously Endgame. So, I'm still on that side of things. So for me, it's going to be Marvel all day. And it's not even close. Star Wars is cool. Don't get me wrong. But, the prequels wasn't the biggest fan of. I just thought Kenobi was probably the only good thing. The sequels weren't that good, and the only thing about good LT was, in my opinion, was like, New Hope and Empire, but that was a really long time ago. You know what I mean? So yeah, for me, it's not even close. It's Marvel all day. So.
Yeah, and this is before I jump to Dean on this one. Just thinking about how I would answer this, I'm having to look at my Marvel figures and Star Wars figures. Dude, that's so tough, man, because I feel like I have a pretty even split of both. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a real toss-up. I'd probably have to go Marvel. But it's, dude, I'm like a real 50-50 type collector. Like I have literally probably 50-50 of both. So... but I'd probably go Marvel just because Infinity War is my favorite film ever. I love The Force Awakens, but Infinity War is my favorite film. So to give up those figures and give up Avengers 1 and stuff like that, I know Dean's going to be upset with me about A Force Awakens. But Dean, fill me in, bro, on your side. Are you kind of, straddling the fence like me, or are you going to pick one side here?
Bro, gun to my head.
Oh shit! Demonetized, baby.
Yeah. No. So yeah, easy for me. It'd be Star Wars. I'm keeping Star Wars.
Okay, so we're 2-2 then. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really get into Marvel a ton until the movies came out. I've always been into Star Wars. I think the only character I've really followed Marvel like all the time was Spider-Man. And then when his movies came out, it was even better. So yeah, it's really easy for me to be like, okay, I'll give up Marvel because I don't have that huge attachment to it like I do with Star Wars. So.
Okay, so Star Wars, you just have more of an emotional connection to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about if I ask you guys as far as figures go, do you feel like Marvel or Star Wars has better figures than the other?
Oof, that's tough.
I mean, because that. Yeah, that would be interesting. Because one thing I would say, Carlos, Marvel has more colorful figures.
But what do you mean by better figures? Like
and like the accessories.
I mean, figures that more so pop on your shelf that you think people that you would want to look at, and also that other people.
I mean, you have a Hulkbuster. You don't even have like
Doctor Strange by himself.
But Star Wars
Iron
has like
Man
the
and like
ATRTs and stuff, and and stuff like that.
That's Clone Wars though. Like I guess that's Star Wars, but that's just. I mean, for all we know, that thing's a big old. Those are cheap and pieces of plastic though. They're all like
but they're still cool. They look cool.
They're junk, literally. Like so.
Why is
I mean they are. You own them, right, Dean? Dean, do you own the speeders?
No, I don't have any speeders.
All right, then there you go. So I own the speeders. They're junk.
But junk. I also don't have a Hulkbuster.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I have a Hulkbuster. I have a Hulkbuster. I've had every speeder and every speeder.
No, but yeah, 100%. I think Marvel pops on the shelf better.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Just more colorful.
Spider-Man by himself is more colorful.
Bro, you have like Spider-Man figures and with the Gracie head sculpts, and you have die-cast Iron Man. Like figure-wise, you have to say Marvel. Like
accessories too. Like even like the Infinity War Star-Lord has all those little Doctor Strange floaty bits, and Captain Marvel has like flame effects and stuff like that. Like Star Wars is like some lightning effects, maybe. Like,
well, you got like jetpacks for Mando and Boba and stuff. I mean,
they're not even diecast though. Like,
what you say?
What do you think about? Would you prefer, like, if you're just judging Star Wars and Marvel figures, like the quality of the figures? Would you say one has an edge over the other?
I'm still sticking with Star Wars.
Still Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Star Wars, clearly because of aesthetics. For me, it's more based on the universe. I mean, I don't really need to have. I mean, what's worth having all the accessories that pop when they break just as easily? You know what I mean? So it really doesn't really matter to me. Accessories don't really matter to me, to be quite honest, bro, because I don't use half of them. You know what I mean? I'm just more excited about the figure, how it looks in my display, what completes my display, what more so completes nostalgia. I have more nostalgia towards Star Wars than I would for Marvel, because again, I don't really have a connection to the actors at all. You know what I mean? As opposed to what I would from Star Wars, because we grew up with these individuals. So it really, to me, it doesn't matter. I would still, again, stick with Star Wars through and through. You know what I mean? If I had to get rid of the Marvel tomorrow, that'd be easy. It'd be an easy choice. You know what I mean? I'd say, okay, cool. More space. You know what I mean? I have more space to deal with. That's even though that's not to say that Marvel isn't iconic, it doesn't have some beautiful pieces, because it does. It's just that for me, I prefer, Star Wars. So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, guys, let's wrap discussion on that one. Great thoughts. But we got to move on to something else. Queen Studios. They showed some updates, and I kind of wanted to share this with you guys. I know it's a statue. Probably no one on this panel is going to buy this. However, I did want to address it just because I know there's a lot of people who are excited about this piece. This is the Queen Studios 1/3 scale Catwoman on Batpod from The Dark Knight Rises. They've shown some production updates, and I'll zoom in a bunch here just so we can see these head sculpts. I'm going to just lead the panel a little bit here on this one. They look really good. So I think anyone who picked this up is going to be very happy. This was a very expensive piece at I think $3,000 because it had the Batpod on it. So very expensive piece, nonetheless, rooted hair. All I can say is move aside J&D because the J&D Catwoman is pretty good. But this one, if these are the production pieces, damn, because this looks really, really good. That's just my opinion. Everyone can have their own. But I want to start actually with Carlos on this one. Carlos, the 1/3 Catwoman on Batpod. This is a production update from Queen. What are your thoughts on kind of what you're seeing here?
Man, this is and this was what, $3,000, something like that, right?
I think it's about $3K. Yeah, because the Batpod's so big in third scale. Yeah,
right. Yeah, but even then, like a J&D, it was like what, 26, something like that, 25 before shipping and taxes and all that. So, hey, man, J&D has some problems, man. I'm gonna say that right now because clearly they're supposed to be the best, and you're getting a Batpod now, you're getting a better likeness. I don't know if this is silicone or not, but I doubt it.
No.
Or is it silicone? Do you know? Okay.
I don't think so,
dude.
No.
Regardless. This looks amazing, man. I'm really happy with what Queen is doing. It looks better with the goggles, but same thing can be said about J&D. Just J&D has those, really, I don't know, whatever they call it, those really big old lips that she has going on in there. So yeah, bro, I think J&D has some work cut out for them because after seeing this, it makes me wonder a little bit more about that Wonder Woman they released. Is making me wonder a little bit more about Old Man Bruce Wayne. So yeah, man. I think they did a great job. I think that Batpod is gonna look fantastic for whoever gets it. I mean, this is pretty much spot on, rooted hair. So, hey man, when you do really great, I have to give it to them, and they knocked it out the park. Well, what can I say? Whoever's getting it, it's gonna look great.
And these were the original photos. I mean, that was the prototype. I think it looks pretty close to that. I mean, I think
it looks really good.
I think this is, if any decline at all, maybe 1% to 2%. I mean, this looks really, really good. If I was a bigger Catwoman fan, I know this would be tempting, but I like Catwoman. She's cool. But Leo, I want to jump to you next.
It makes me wonder.
Yeah, it does. Leo, I want to jump to you next on this one. What do you think about this production update from Queen on Catwoman?
Definitely looks good. I'm happy, for Queen. I'm not happy with Spec Fiction right now. You already know why.
Yeah.
I'm just not, I'm after this, I'm tapped out. But it looks good, man. And it is hopeful, that if, definitely if they can do it to this, they can do it on this particular level. And I think this is this the quarters? This is the 1/6?
1/3. Yeah, the 1/6 had sculpted hair. Yeah,
it had sculpted. So basically, all right. So even still, the 1/6 was decent as well.
Yeah.
It's hopeful that even if they actually, with them, if NARTS, releases a 6 scale version of this, and it would be decent to have. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks spot on. This definitely looks better, way better as far as the expression, way better than J&D in my opinion. It does by far. That it looks like a mini version of her, like literally. You know what I mean? It looks like it's creepy how fantastic it looks. It looks incredible.
Right?
So, yeah,
it looks fantastic.
They definitely killed it with this piece. So anybody that will get this in hand, they'll be excited about it. I mean, I didn't order it, but again, it's far superior over J&D in my opinion.
And the problem with J&D is that they charge so much that you start expecting like, oh well, they're the best. But then the Queen Studios comes out and you're like, wait a minute, you were supposed to be the very best, and this one is a little bit more expensive, but you also get a Batpod and the likeness is better. right? Then Queen Studios also says, hey, J&D, fuck your 1/3 Heath Ledger. Our quarter scale is better. Now, I like the texture of the J&D better. I think the skin looks more real, but the likeness is better on the quarter scale. Yeah. And so that really makes me wonder, like, is J&D worth it? Right? It's starting to really make me wonder that, because
here's the thing. I've been saying that for a minute. For me, it's not, put it this way, it's worth it for somebody. It's definitely not worth it for me, because the thing is, from what we see with J&D so far, is the same poses, lackluster base, you know what I mean? But people are paying for that likeness. I guess they're paying for the realism. But if you're paying for that and you look at that, judging this, it's like, is it really? Right.
That's the thing, is that with J&D is it's like the base is going to be simple because you want the attention on the statue, fine, and you want the best likeness, but the likeness is not there compared to this, and neither is the Heath Ledger. Right. And now this Christian Bale 1/3, that dude's starting to look a little old. Like, I'm waiting for reviews that are coming out to see how I look at it. But I may tap out on J&D, you know.
Well, I think the J&D ones, they nailed Arthur Fleck and they nailed Wonder Woman. The other ones are like, Harley is debatable, but like the other ones are kind of good.
The Wonder Woman they killed, but I mean, and that's my
not
thing,
the second one though.
The golden second one, the golden armor,
the golden armored one, just the golden armor one. They did a good job on. But again, like I said, what you want, a level of consistency. That's what you want. With this. Again, they, J&D, I mean, not J&D, Queen Studios, they killed it.
Yep. Now
that J&D version for me, like with when they her hair down, it looked horrible to me. Like, it really looked horrible, because it was something about that did not compliment the face at all, and her nose looked a little bit weird on that one. This looks perfect. I love it.
Here's the thing: J&D is using silicone, so the silicone on the Joker does look better, the paint apps, than on the quarter scale version. I've seen pictures. I have so it does look better. But at the end of the day, the paint apps, and it looks more real, 100% J&D. But the likeness is not there.
Right.
So who cares? Like, I'll rather have a non-silicone. The likeness is perfect or close to it, than a silicone one that doesn't look as close to it, right? Yeah. So I think Queen Studios is winning. Like, if you can't nail silicone, then don't fucking do silicone. As simple as that.
Right. Well, I'd almost prefer that they don't use silicone, because it could get dusty, and then like it's hard to get the dust off, and it's like, and it will degrade and stuff. So to me, I'm almost just rather take the polystone or whatever it is, resin, whatever it is, with these head sculpts. Like, I'll just take that. So. But Dean, I want to let you jump in on this one. With this Catwoman, this production update for the 1/3 Queen Catwoman, what do you think overall?
I get a lot of shit for
not
liking this trilogy of movies. But even I would 100% buy this. Yeah, dude. When they first showed it off, I was like, God damn! Like, that pose alone got me act up,
Dean.
But dude, like you said, like, from prototype to final production, I mean, there's no loss in quality. That is insane to me. This thing is fucking dope, dude. It's so cool. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any other like Dark Knight stuff in my collection, so this would stand out like a sore thumb. And then I'd probably have to buy other shit to go with it, and I don't like the movies enough to do that, and this is not cheap. So but like I said, if I could get it, I would.
I get what you mean though, Dean, but I mean, this is a badass. J&D was what, 2,400. This is $3,000, so you're paying 600 more, but you're getting the bat pod and, like they said, a better likeness. To me, that would be pretty easy. I know this is sold out, probably hard to find at this point, but you know,
even coming from me, and I mean, historically, I shit on these films all the time, so like, even I'm impressed that I would even get this. It's insanely good.
It's pretty dope,
bro. It is.
It is.
It
looks
really
great,
good.
bro. Better than Final Fantasy.
No, see, we'll kick Carlos Dean.
Yeah, how do you kick him?
Yeah, we'll kick him. He loves Final Fantasy, so it's fine. He's just trolling.
I do.
But yeah, man, because like Carlos said, I have that Queen 1/4 Joker. I mean, in photos, every time I take a photo, I'm like, it doesn't look as good. But in person, this is exactly what Batman Statue Collector said too, because I watched his review. Dude, in person, it's like literally a 10. It's the most perfect Heath Ledger likeness I've seen, and it looks super real. So it's pretty crazy. So what Queen's doing right now, very impressed with that. Anyway, guys, we got one more topic, and I think just enough time to cover it. So I wanted to ask you, do we move on to the next figure too quickly? I think this is something that maybe we all do to a degree, because there's always another one, right? There's always a new release. There's always a 2.0. There's always another figure on the docket where you're like, okay, I'm going to look at that one, and I just forget about the figure I just got that I put in one pose and then put it on the shelf and then forgot about it, right? So I kind of want to ask, and I want the chat to kind of weigh in on this too. How, do we move on to new figures too quickly? Do we get a figure and then kind of pose it and then forget about it? Does that happen with our collections? And Leo, I want to start with you again on this one. Do you think we all kind of are guilty of that from time to time?
Time to time, you might be, but if you pose figures, you may not be, because you're always going back thinking of new ideas. You're looking at your displays. You're always reposing. I do it like pretty much every week. I am always going back, reposing figures, making sure that, I capture certain things. Or if I think that, like I said, I've advanced more in posing, I'll say, let me just go back and do something totally different. So I'm always going back to revisit. But you'll have like your figures that, kind of take up more precedence. But I would honestly say you're on to something. Like I do think that, again, if you're somebody who, like for instance, Shane, he has it down to a science where he just collects certain figures in his collection. So that's why, like I said, he's more devoted on certain figures. So of course he would have more attention to, just those particular figures. For somebody like, like most of us who collect a lot of figures, or mainly me, and whoever else, again, you're going to have a lot in your display. But if you have companion pieces, and if you want to kind of recreate, if you're creating scenes, then of course you're going to have a lot of attention on your figures. But I think, it can go both ways, but I think you are right. I think basically, we have a tendency to get one and say, okay, cool, I got it. Let me pose it up. Okay, what's the next one? You know what I mean? What's the next one to drop? When's this going to come?
Exactly.
I want this to actually, I want to have that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, to say it's not true, you kind of be kind of naive. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
It happens. Like it is something that basically does happen. Like literally, bro, I have the DX19 in my collection right now. It's still in the box. And the reason why is because I don't have that Batman Begins yet. You know what I mean?
Right. I remember
I need
that
to kind of pull off what I'm trying to pull off. But I mean, again, like, I would say, yes, there is a tendency to move on too quick. But if you have a smaller collection, if you're more so narrow, you narrow your collection down to like maybe one IP and you're only focused on that, then it probably wouldn't be concerning. You know what I mean?
Right. And Leo, because I do think it is true, like you said, but the figure, that's how I know I'm really excited about a figure. Because if I get one and then I pose it up a little bit and I keep going back to my room and I'm like, hey, I want to go look at that figure again that I just got. I've been doing that with the Scorpion, right? That's how I know I really love the figure. Yeah. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm just kind of like, do I really love this? But with Scorpion, it's different because I keep going back and I'm like, that figure's fucking dope, right? Like Sephiroth too, Cloud,
whatever. I did was, for me, because like I said, I'm not selling figures off, I'm donating. So basically, there were certain figures that I had in my collection, and I'm like, I think I'm done with this right now. I think I'm over it. Normally sideshow figures. But what I do basically with those, like literally, I'm just being quite honest. Like Hot Toys, it's hard for me to get rid of. Sideshow, I can dip on that quick. But, so what I'll do is if the ones that I don't want and I know that I'm going to donate, I'll pack them up, get them ready, because I'm actually donating those to like a children's hospital. Nice. So yeah, it's easy for me to do something like that and just make space for more, you know what I mean, and other figures and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think you're onto something, bro. I think it is just like we have a tendency to like get a figure, pose it up, get in your collection. It's like, I'm done with that. Okay, what's next?
Right.
What's coming next? You know
always a search of the next one. Yeah, but Dean, what do you think, bro? Do you think we tend to move on to new figures too quickly and forget about the ones we just got?
Yeah, I think it also might just depend on how much you love that figure or something. Like for me, I'll get a figure, pose it up, put it in my DTOF, and it's whatever. And then I'm like, all right, what do I have coming in next?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely am guilty of that. But
Yeah.
a figure like the Game Toys Cloud, I still haven't put that thing down, you know?
See, Dean, I told you, bro. I told you, bro. I told you would love that.
Yeah, so I think it just kind of depends on the character, or maybe it's just a really fun figure to pose around that might hold your attention more. But I definitely am always, especially because, you know, we host shows and we got to talk about the newest stuff and what comes in. And then, I mean, even on my show, the segment is new this week. It's like, we already got new stuff. Like, what are we talking about? So yeah, I think it could be a problem. I think we're just in maybe the position where we don't have time to appreciate the stuff we get.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, well, I got to stay on top of it. So yeah, I definitely.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. Well, Carlos, what about you, bro? Do you feel like we all tend to do this? Do you tend to do this sometimes, get a figure and move on to the next one?
Yeah, so I think this was exactly why. And again, we're going to make a video, so it doesn't sound like we're just, randomly.
There's going to be a PowerPoint,
things,
I will say. Yeah,
there will be a PowerPoint or video, but this is exactly why we're creating, tier-based collecting. Because I was kind of person that I'll get one figure and onto the next and onto the next. I'll keep some figure in boxes, and once you start doing that, or you're like, well, maybe it's because you don't care about that character enough. That's exactly why that character probably wasn't important enough, right? Because if in this tier-based collecting, it is about keeping a smaller scale, or smaller figures, less figures, but it's not so much about just, well, you have less, so your collection is less valuable. It's, if anything, it's more important to you because you actually have the figures that you care about. Instead of having, like, an example I keep using would be like having a Kylo for me wouldn't be important, but a Kylo for you would be very important, for me, maybe having a sack isn't important enough, but for Dean, and maybe it is, so that's one of those things that, so we move on because I think we're always on to the next, or on to the next thing they release, onto the next figure that's being hyped. And that's why we see so many people sell figures in a week or two, because they get something that we really didn't care about, and then we're moving on. And I think that's exactly why this tier-based collecting is really going to help a lot of people, because since I've done that, I don't even recall now the next one I'm even thinking about buying, because there's nothing out there that's important enough for me to even move on to. So I'm appreciating the work and the things that I have now, because I keep going back and looking at the same ones, because nothing is meeting that cut, right? That 50, 75 figure cut anymore. So
right,
I'm not worried about the next one. I keep appreciating what I have, because I don't care about if an armorized Deadpool, which you know that I've been talking about for a long time, but he won't make that top 50 or that top 40 or whatever it is. So because of that, I no longer experience this, and collecting has gotten a lot better for me. And you don't feel the need to like keep up or wait for the next thing the Hot Toys releases. You just move on with your life, and you start realizing that you do other things. So I think a lot of us do this. And I definitely would do this as well. So
yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah, and I sometimes do it too. So, and that lets me know that I really don't care as much about that figure, and that's one of the ones I tend to move on from. So, it definitely is
like the comment here.
Yeah, which one?
It says I usually forget what I have quickly. Yeah, like that's why tier-based collecting will probably be best for you, because then you won't forget what you have, because it'd be really hard for you to, right? Or you're like, yo, it's just, so anyways.
Well, it's almost like, I think one of the coolest parts about collecting is like the hunt.
Right.
Like not having something. And then once you finally get it, it's like, oh, cool. But you still want that feeling, and it's just kind of like, well, I got the thing I really wanted, but now what? Like,
right.
It almost feels better wanting something than having it. Sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, it can be like that with a lot of things, Dean. Collecting, relationships. Like, you kind of want what you can't have. I mean, that's
right.
This tends to be like a human thing, right? Like people will buy things they don't like. Like I've talked about that stealth suit cap. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of people who probably didn't really want that, right? But they bought it because it was $300. So, and there are people probably that pre-ordered the NR Joker that didn't really want it because they thought it was more exclusive than it turned out to be. So. I think that happened too. So,
right. With tier based, I don't think that you will ever get into, oh shit, I pre-ordered the wrong thing, or damn, I bought this and I really didn't want it. That won't happen anymore. It's impossible for it to happen because we specifically made that so you no longer have that problem.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so pretty interesting.
You'll never be like, oh, I'm gonna pre-order something and I just felt like FOMO. Well, you won't feel FOMO because there was no reason to feel FOMO because he never even made the tier-based thing. So hopefully we make that video soon.
Absolutely, bro. Well, guys, great thoughts on that one. Before we wrap, we got to address a super chat from Mr. Ash Chase. Thanks so much, bro. Mr. Ash Chase, thanks, man. So he has a question for all of us. A question for the panel. Do you guys give figures as gifts? And when you do, does it feel different than when you get it for yourself? I've never gifted a figure as a gift. I tend to be a gift card guy. Like I'll send gift cards to my friends and family and stuff like that. But I've never given away a full figure. I've gotten figures as gifts before. It was like from actually like a couple ex-girlfriends ago. Actually, I got a couple actually. One was Joel from CC Toys. Yeah, do you guys, Leo, I know you give them away. I'm sure it feels pretty different, right?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I mean, because like I said, I'm giving it not just for a cause, but I just love to see kids have a good time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, for me is like, packing these figures up. I do it once a year. I pick a few figures that, pretty much I don't, have an interest in anymore. And I'll just give them away. And I'll just give it to, to that, the organization or the Children's Hospital. Because I think it's for me is going to a good place, and it's giving them something. But yeah, I'll gift it in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Like, or for me, like if because there's not too many people that, in the collector's field around here that I deal with. So if anything, I'll give somebody a gift card, stuff like that. Like Nick won the, he won the, Figure Flex Friday a competition 2 weeks ago. So basically he's getting gifted a gift card from Sideshow, $100 gift card. You know what I mean? So that's, just a simple thing. But other than that, like, yeah, I'll just give, I'll make sure that and the thing is, it's not like I'm just giving it away for just nothing. I'm giving away for something. And that's just the enjoyment, just feeling good that I'm doing something good for somebody else. So that's where I'm at.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But what about Dean, Carlos, any of you guys? Have you ever gifted a figure before?
Yeah,
I've gifted a figure. I've gifted. Oh, go.
No, you got further.
No, go.
You got further along in your sentence.
Go ahead.
I usually go part in a figure. Like if we have a friend that really wants a figure, me and Zach will like find one cheap and then like go halvesies or whatever. Usually it's like a grail status figure, like that maybe that person can't really afford on their own because they're so expensive. And that always feels really good, like helping somebody get a part of their collection that they really, really want. But I've also gotten people figures that they turn around and sell like not that long later, and that always feels really shitty.
Right.
I personally don't sell gifts. Like if somebody got something for me, like they put in the time, effort, and money to get that for me. So like I never get rid of those figures. So when I do that for someone else and I see them do it, I'm like, I'm never getting you anything ever again. So
That's fair.
Because Zach does that all the time. He'll sell gifts and he's like, well, that person just wants me to be happy, right? And I'm like, yeah, like true, you're not wrong, but like,
yeah,
it just seems kind of lame. But I always give him shit for that. But yeah, it can feel really, really good to give somebody that part of their collection, but it can also feel really bad when they sell it.
Yeah, I bet, bro. I bet, man. Yeah. So, Carlos, what about you, bro?
So, I mean, does it feel different than when you get it for yourself? I mean, I think the happiest people are not the ones who make the most money or have the most friends, are the ones who are the most charitable. I think they're the ones who give back the most, and help out, volunteer. So if you can afford it, yeah, giving away a figure, gifting things, that's probably, a really good thing. Obviously you do have to take care of yourself first, but giving anything, I think makes you more charitable. It's always a better way, to go. And I think it'll make you happier overall. So I think does it feel different? Yeah. I mean, I've gifted a few figures at this point in my life. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's always a good thing, man, to give back. And DJN, thanks so much, bro, for the super chat. He said the completionist dilemma is such a difficult set. Yeah. Different brain mindset. Okay, difficult mindset. Different mindset. Yeah,
I used to be like that though.
Yeah, I've never been a completionist. I've never been like, oh, I need this whole line or that whole line. Like I don't know. That's just never been something that I do. But there are a lot of people who do. I mean, you really love the film and you want the line, so. Makes sense. But DJN, thanks so much, bro. Guys, we're going to wrap it there. So I want to go around real quick. Mr. Dean of Collecting Weekly, bro. Thanks so much for joining again, man.
Yeah.
And what's coming up on Collecting Weekly, bro?
I don't know.
Well, because you have so much. There's so much.
We put out content every day. So Mondays is our unboxings. Yeah. Tuesday is our news show. Wednesday, we just hang out and have fun.
Yeah.
Thursdays we have another news show. Fridays, statue news. Saturdays we do some gaming. So we got stuff every day.
Yeah, y'all are pumping out the content over there.
Yeah, they even did a show today earlier. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a nonstop grind.
It is, bro. Well, congrats on that, Dean. Like I said, a lot of grinding, a lot of good content over there, guys. So check out Collecting Weekly. And then next up would be Mr. Carlos, a place for collecting, bro. Do you want to give any more info about the group on Facebook?
Yeah. So we have a group, a place for collecting. We're currently working on the details to give away the in-art Joker. That's something we just recently announced, and we'll probably share details for Christmas. Hopefully we get to raffle that off during that time. If not, maybe in Q1 of next year. But yeah, it's a free group. We give away things just by being active, or even if you just want to be in the group, it's toxic and drama free. And it's a really good group. It's still, relatively small, and we probably will eventually cap it at a certain amount of members. We don't want it to be, where we have like 1,000 members or anything like that. So there will be a time where we're going to cap the numbers. For now, it's still growing. And yeah, that's what I have currently. And then I'll be on Wednesdays at Leao, and then Sundays with you.
Damn right, motherfucker.
I know, right? His ass will be on that thumbnail either way, though. We know that. Pretty much. But Leao, 1/6 scale, man.
Any more asking, bro? Like, don't do that. Like, don't even be like, "Hey, Leao, am I, motherfucker? What you think?
Yeah, what you think? You know the answer to that question. But thanks so much for joining, Leao and Carlos. But Leao, man, what's coming up on the 1/6 scale man YouTube channel?
Oh man, so yeah, thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, let's see here. We got Comic Book Talk with Friends tomorrow. I just actually dropped a video today. Actually, it aired at 9:30 for Take Your Position, the Tusken Raider. So definitely check that out. It's a compilation Tusken Raider with the Nomad Mando. So I created like a complete sand diorama space. With rocks and stuff in it to kind of give it some life. So, check that out if you haven't already. That's on the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, of course. Tomorrow's Comic Book Talk with Friends. Wednesday, Say What Wednesday. We're going to have Uncivilized Scoundrels to break down Andor. Friday will be another Figure Flex Friday, and then back for Collectors Lounge International. There will be another video drop if you take your position for the comic book version of Iron Man, the comic version that they dropped last year, I guess, that I have finally got it unboxed and I'm ready to go with it. So yeah, I'll be doing that. And yeah, I'm just barreling through all the ones that I haven't had a chance to kind of barrel through and get those out in order. So I'm just doing that. So yeah.
There you go, man.
Thanks for having me, man. And
man.
Yeah, we are going forward like this month now. Since Thanksgiving is over, it will be the Christmas initiative, which is again donating towards such a good cause, Toys for Tots. Anything helps to make sure that we can actually put toys in kids' hands. Definitely it's a great cause. I did partner with some local charities within the area. So I'm excited about it. Again, it's a good time. It's the time for giving. So let's again, pay it forward. So,
yeah, man. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So thanks, Leao, for joining as always, bro. Happy to have you every single week, man. So really excited about that. So Guys, thanks so much for joining the live stream. We have this every Sunday, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern, Collectors Mingle. We have Lights Camera Collect every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. You know, I'm always on Lael, say what, 9:15 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. I'll be there per usual this week, every week. So there'll be that. There'll be clips. All these live streams are always cut up in clips now, so people can watch them at their convenience. That's always nice. The ModuSpace giveaway, check out the video on my channel about that ModuSpace giveaway for how to enter into that. That's going to be exciting when we hit 6,000. So that should be around the corner, hopefully, and then we'll be able to do that. I have an interview coming up with Todd from Spec Fiction, so that'll be interesting. Coming up, I believe it's this Sunday. I'll have to look at the date again, but it's December the 4th, so I believe it's this Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. And everything else that we have going on the channel. Carlos and I will be doing that tier-based collecting video pretty soon. I got to create the PowerPoint. Carlos and I will work together on that, and we're going to introduce that. I think it'll be fun. So
one other thing. So definitely going forward for the rest of this month and the month of December, on Sundays, you know, when you check out Collectors Lounge International, both Carlos and Spice will be showing up every week on that thumbnail every week. Those pictures probably different iteration, but it will show up for the rest of the month of November and December. So yes, stay tuned.
Hey, that sounds like a great thing. I saw the thumbnail, by the way. It's pretty cool. But guys, thanks so much for joining. You know, there'll be other content from all these great guys on their own channels and Facebook groups and so forth. So with that said, peace out, guys. Have a great end of the weekend and have a good week. See ya. Bye.